YouTube Ozzico and the Goat House is back. Today I got my picks against the spread for some of the top games in college football week 13. We're doing this usually we do it every week. Most time it's on every Tuesday afternoon. And we got all kinds of NFL content as well. So join us for that. Check it out. Like, subscribe to notifications on. Follow our Twitter. A lot of updates there. I always predict the college football playoff poll top 10 at the end of usually Saturday night, Sunday. So I already did that on Twitter. We're always talking about it. Check it out. Here's the leaderboard. Some changes at the top. G-Dog leading the way with 69 wins. What a beast. And there's a lot of people in that area as well. So we got ourselves a battle. This week's game, we got Ohio State, Michigan. So Ohio State favored by a lot of points. Maybe surprise to people how much they were favored by these last couple games. Purdue, Michigan State, and they covered both easily. But now they're only favored by 7.5. So I think it has a lot to do with it being at Michigan, perhaps. Maybe that can throw them off a little bit. But I'm going to take Ohio State. They got a lot better. So I'm going to take them. But being at Michigan, I think that makes it interesting. But I think Ohio State wins by double digits based on how they're playing recently. But team's been pretty inconsistent. I just don't expect Ohio State to be. Miami, Ohio, and Kent State. Some action here. Give me Miami of Ohio. Not too many people picking them. Plus 1.5. I think they can win the game. It's going to be tight. Kent State runs the crap out of the ball. But I'm going to go Miami of Ohio. Georgia Tech. Give me Georgia. Well, yeah. I was just thinking maybe Georgia. Maybe they rest guys early in this game because they're getting ready for that SEC showdown title game between Alabama. So that'd be the reason they don't cover. I mean, Notre Dame beat Georgia Tech 55-0 last week. Georgia Tech looked bad. So I think Georgia should be able to cover the 34.5. But yeah, again, even with their backups, I was going to say, like, maybe they rest guys earlier than you think to kind of get ready for Alabama. But I think even with their backups, they might be able to take care of business. I don't know if Georgia Tech scores. I mean, they really struggled offensively against Notre Dame. Good defense, but Georgia, elite defense here. Alabama, Auburn. A few weeks ago, I was kind of thinking about this game. Could Auburn, because Alabama looked kind of, very dominant, but beatable, And I was thinking about this about 4 weeks ago even. I'm like, that Iron Bowl, Auburn might be able to, because Auburn was a pretty good football team at that time, even though they had a couple losses. They could beat Bama at home in that big rival game end of the year and shake some things up. But Bo Nix goes down a couple weeks ago. Not this past week, the week before. And Auburn just doesn't feel nearly as good. So Alabama's going to win this game, and I think they cover on top of it, and they win by more than 20. Alabama's been keeping teams kind of close, though. They're saving a little bit, maybe not. But Auburn's just not the same team as they were, a few weeks, 4 or so weeks ago, where I thought, this is going to be a good game, But you never know. Oregon State, Oregon. This is tough. That's a tough spread. Oregon was extremely disappointing last week. It was at Utah, pretty wild crowd. Yeah, they're home in this game, rival game. I'm leaning towards Oregon here. 2-touchdown win, maybe 10 to 14 points around there. Oregon State's a little sneaky, though. Are they 7-4? They're a little sneaky. Maybe they take a page out of Utah's book, just pound the football. I like Oregon at home. If it was in Oregon State, the line would be different. I was going to say I would like Oregon State, but the line would be a lot different. Western Kentucky and Marshall. These two teams, they're pretty decent here. Marshall minus 1.5, probably they're at home. I think Western Kentucky might be the better team, but it's in Marshall. Give me Western Kentucky plus 1.5. That one's tough, and that MAC one, they're both 1.5. That one's tough as hell as well. I like Wisconsin a lot, minus 6.5. It's one of those surprising lines to me. I know Wisconsin, a lot of people were loving Wisconsin against Nebraska with that spread because Wisconsin's been killing everybody, but Nebraska just plays teams tight. It's just what they do, and they lose those games. They play them extremely tight. Minnesota has been a little underwhelming. They beat up Indiana last week. It took them a bit to get going. Indiana's really struggling, though. Wisconsin's going to hold Minnesota to, I don't know. Is Minnesota going to score 14 points even? Illinois pretty much shut them down. I like Wisconsin a lot, -6.5. I liked it a lot, unless I'm missing something. Some of these surprising lines have ended up being, there's a reason for the lines, obviously. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, so tough. Oklahoma State's defense is ridiculous. We don't see Big 12 defense like that really ever. And Baylor's playing pretty good defense as well. But Oklahoma State's defense is really good. We saw Oklahoma had some struggle scoring against Kansas even though they ended up being fine in that game. But against Baylor, a good defense, probably the second best defense debatably in the Big 12 after Oklahoma State. Oklahoma struggled to score on them. So matchup says, I don't know if Oklahoma can score enough points on Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State should, even though their offense gets a little quiet sometimes, should be able to score an Oklahoma matchup at Oklahoma State. Matchup says State here. But something's telling me I'm going to pick Oklahoma State to win the game. I think it's going to be real tight. I think that 3.5 makes me kind of go towards Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma can win the game. If they lose, I think it'll be by 3. It could even be a 1-point game. They always have problems with Oklahoma. And Oklahoma knows, they actually have a shot still. If they beat Oklahoma State and then go win the Big 12 title, which would be against Oklahoma State again, that would be something here. But that's a tough one. I wouldn't touch that one. I wouldn't touch it. Notre Dame, Stanford. This is about as bad as Stanford's ever been. Notre Dame's getting better and better. I mean, they just beat Georgia Tech 55-0 last week at Stanford. I mean, you'd like to think Stanford's better than Georgia Tech, but is that much of a difference, really? It's in Stanford, though. That's a difference. In Stanford, maybe a senior game. There might be a lot of Notre Dame fans, though, in those stands. Notre Dame should win by 20+. I'll take them. BYU, USC. I like BYU, 6.5. Loved UCLA last week against USC. I was surprised by that line. They covered with ease. BYU is a real good football team. Line to work. There we go. I was trying to take away my BYU pick. I think BYU can win by two touchdowns. What am I missing here? Maybe USC can surprise us last game of the year. But I like BYU in that one. I like Notre Dame. Wouldn't touch that. Wisconsin I really like. That's the only one that I really like here. Like Ohio State. Really like Wisconsin. BYU's pretty good. Pretty good one as well. That Wisconsin one. What am I missing here? I don't think Minnesota's too good of a football team. They're a good football team. They're not, Wisconsin level for it to be within a touchdown. So I'm surprised by that line, but the lines I've been the most surprised about this year have gone against me, really. So it's just been one of those types of years of weird season. But Wisconsin's been playing really good football, maybe because Nebraska was close with them. And a lot of the money was on Wisconsin in that game, but Nebraska just plays teams close, But I like Wisconsin. I don't see Minnesota scoring much points. 13 maybe. Wisconsin should score 27, around that range. So I don't know. I like Wisconsin at least, but I like Wisconsin a lot in that game. Yes, that was a surprising one. So we'll see what happens. It's been a surprising year, though. Every single week's been pretty wild. I'm kind of hoping for those nonsense games, to shake up the college football playoff and just create some madness. That'd be pretty nice, in my opinion. But that'll wrap up the college football picks for this week. We got all kinds of NFL content here on the channel. We got NFL draft content as well. So join us. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. You guys know the drill. It's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.